What's up? Welcome back to my channel, or for the first time if you're new, I'm Sylvan, and today I'm going to be reacting to Vivian's character teaser, When Birds Sing. I find it interesting that we're getting her teaser rather than her demo, but that is no big deal. The exact order isn't really important, just that we get these. But regardless, I'm excited to get into this, so I won't delay any further. Feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoy the video, leave a comment on your thoughts, and let's get into this. What do we got? Do we get into her past with... Oh...
Is the one who foretells tragedy.
Ooh, interesting song.
Of thorns ahead.
The fact that there's actually lyrics is interesting.
Disaster itself.
Yeah.
They say.
Mmm.
Vivian.
Visually, this is insane.
You need to open your eyes and tell everyone what you see in the future.
Oh.
But they also say, shed no tears. Your tears only bring misfortune.
Oh.
They scream, they curse, they demand I be cast out.
This is so unique.
But that person is different.
Ooh. Broken chains. Aww.
Keep moving forward. Shine even brighter.
Nice.
I will get closer to them.
Wow. And now we're in the normal style. We can see her jets.
How dare you tarnish Phaeton's name?
Of course.
Unforgivable. Be gone.
Oh, Jesus. Wow, okay. Really brief, but very dense as well. So the first thing I want to call out is just the music. The fact that this song consistently has vocals that are very quiet and in the background, but always present is very interesting and distinct compared to a lot of other music they'd do for teasers like this. We've had demos where the music has lyrics, but I can't think of any teaser that had lyrics in the song, which is interesting. If we could somehow isolate the song, I'd be curious to see what the lyrics are about, because probably we could get something out of that. But it's just enough in the background that it's gonna take too much effort to figure out what's being said, so instead I'll just focus on what is actually said in the teaser and visuals. First off, we have this visual of glass shattering, revealing a bird that alters and falls to the ground, obviously implying a bird falling from the sky and dying. And it's with this visual that we have a very pertinent question to Vivian's character and her backstory and her entire arc, realistically. Is the one who foretells tragedy a sage who warns of thorns ahead? Someone who merely is bringing to light dangers in the future? A predictor of a pre-established future? Or a harbinger of disaster itself? If left unprophesized and unspoken, are these futures truly manifest? Is someone who foretells tragedy speaking these tragedies into existence with their prophecies? Could all of this be avoided if they simply kept their mouth shut? That is the core question Vivian has been asking herself for most of her life, in all likelihood, because she is literally that. She is a fortune teller. She predicts the future. She has visions of tragedy, but she does not know if she merely is seeing an undefiable fate that is merely shown to her in advance, or if in seeing these visions and speaking them aloud, they become fact. Really what the difference there is a question of, is she a passive observer or the enactor of these tragedies? Is she incapable of changing any of this and is merely there to learn of it, or is she responsible for it? Neither is a good option, realistically, if all you can foretell is tragedy, because one means you're just doomed to know how people will die, with no way around it, and the other is you are responsible for the deaths of everyone you meet. But that is a question that would haunt her nonetheless. And with this, we have these visuals of her as a child, more so, or at the very least younger, laying down next to a book that is the imagery of the bird having fallen from the sky, as these thorns encroach in around her. Given some of the visuals we get later, it speaks to me as this harsh, deadly cruel, encroaching confinement. They say, Vivian, Vivian, you need to open your eyes and tell everyone what you see in the future. Whoever it is that they are, whether that's the Exaltists or someone else, they do not care about that question. They do not care if she is the one causing these tragedies or merely predicting them. They merely wish for her to speak them aloud, to announce the fates of these people. Or perhaps maybe they do care. Perhaps they do think she is causing these tragedies when she announces them. And perhaps that is why they want her to, if these are malicious people. But it is along this line that we pull out, revealing this entire visual to be just within this sphere, held within the hands of this larger figure who seems to be another aspect of Vivian, almost. She has the hair, but she has these dark black wings, and she has eyes that see the future. This focus on eyes is an interesting thing. Not only do they need her to tell everyone what she sees in the future, but she has to open her eyes. Perhaps due to her fear of her own power, Vivian wished to keep her eyes closed to hide away from what she sees, metaphorically or literally. But these people urge her to open her eyes regardless. She needs to see these visions. She cannot let them pass her by. But as that spectral eye closes, a tear forms. But they also say, "Shed no tears. Your tears will bring misfortune," which is an interesting contrast, an interesting caveat. Is she not bringing misfortune when she reveals prophecies of tragedy? What about her tears causes misfortune that her visions do not? I can't say for certain I know. They scream, they curse, they demand I be cast out, which speaks to me that perhaps the they in this is not any particular group, but just everyone else, everyone around Vivian. When they learn of her ability, they say, "Tell us the future." When they see her cry when she witnesses the future, it brings unease. They realize misfortune is what she brings. And so they scream, they curse at her, they cast her out, they ostracize her because she is nothing but a bringer of misfortune. Perhaps that is what is being got at here. The initial interest in her power only to be replaced by a fear and hatred of her because of that power. And so she's left alone, surrounded by chains, crying. But that person is different. This statement that that person, Vivian, is different. She is more than a bringer of misfortune. She does not need to be chained down by every curse that has been thrown at her. And we see this as the chains around her break, her shackles shattering, as these gleaming golden horses launch out around her in the shape of wings, where before she had dark black wings. When she's breaking free, her wings are golden. I also actually just realized, having thought about it for a moment based on the later lines, probably that person they're talking about is actually Faith and not herself. I don't know why necessarily I thought it was herself. I think maybe it was just because prior to this moment we didn't have really any specific person mentioned other than herself, and she wasn't necessarily talking in first person prior to now, but it definitely, I think, makes more sense for her to be talking about Faithin when she says that person, because she does not know that we are two people yet, within the context of this teaser. So almost certainly what it is showing that in this darkest moment where everyone had ostracized her, she found hope and meaning and drive in Faithin. Something about Faithin, whether Faithin actually did or said something that inspired her, or her just hearing about us for whatever reason inspired her. The exact reason doesn't matter, just that for whatever reason, Faithin, us, gave her the drive that she needed in her darkest moment, where everybody demanded her to tell them the future and got angry when they learned the result and cast her out because of it. Faithin was different, which perhaps in that case this isn't actually prior to her learning who we are, because in the story we do actually support her. We don't push her away because of her power. That actually I think makes a lot of sense. But I realistically feel like it could be either interpretation. It could either be that we inspired her in some way that made her think we are different than everyone else, and that motivation to therefore get closer to us helped her to get out of her darkest moment, or that her darkest moment is more of this extended period that really she only is coming out of when she finally meets us in the story, and this is contextually after that point where she is saying they are different. They did not push me away when they learned of my power. They value me for me, not for my ability, and they do not fear my ability. Either one, I think, works, and regardless of which one is intended, both have their merit for looking at her character. Either one serves the purpose of Phaethon being an incredibly pivotal person to her and her development and improvement as a person. And so, as she cries, she wipes away her tears. So, I want to see them. I will keep moving forward. And it's with this, she looks forward with determination. She has dried her tears. She has stated what she wants and what she will do. And so we see the bird rise up. I will shine even brighter. I will get closer to them. She grows into a more confident, capable person. She soars once again, even if she was not allowed to initially. We see as she practices, as she trains, whether it be in dance, in etiquette, whatever it may be, she betters herself for her goals. We see her rise up to be the phantom thief she is, all to see and get closer to those who inspired her, who, as it turns out, of course, are us, Phaethon. And so we enter the normal art style and see her above a crowd of people who seem to have perhaps been impersonating us or something. As she says, a bunch of imposters. How dare you tarnish Phaethon's name? Unforgivable. Be gone. As we hear their screams, her taking them down. As I said at the beginning of the analysis, it is a rather short but very packed and dense and interesting teaser. It doesn't necessarily give us anything new about Vivian, but it does a very good job of bringing us through what her life has been in a very sort of simplistic yet artistic and visually interesting and distinct way. And I appreciate it. It's really solid. I like it a lot, even if at the end of the day it's sort of goofy because it's just her adoration to us. But hey, regardless of how much of a fanboy you are, if someone inspires you to improve yourself, that's all that matters. I will not say that her adoration for us is a bad thing, if it can make her achieve all that she has. But with that, I think I've pretty much covered this, so I will leave things there. Feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoy the video, leave a comment on your thoughts, and I hope you all have a great day. Goodbye.